After receiving overwhelming support at the lower house, the bill on the Maharlika Investment Fund has been passed on third and final reading at the House.
With this, the ball is now in the Senate's court with eyes on neophyte Senator Mark Villar, who will file the counterpart measure in the upper chamber. Marian Enriquez with the big story.
Speaker.
The lower house has approved the bill creating the Maharlika Investment Fund on third and final reading. Before this, lawmakers sought to make compromises on the bill. During the period of amendments for the MIF bill, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro proposed to increase the percentage that will be remitted to the national government for social welfare projects from 20% to 30%. But this was thumbed down by House Ways and Means Chairman and Albay Representative Joey Salceda, who is one of the sponsors of the bill.
If we make it 30, nothing will be left of the fund. So wala na akong palalaguin, wala na akong bibigay na ayuda. So in other words, Your Honor, there is some financial limitations to really just emaciating the MIF to a point wherein it can no longer perform the objectives that the proponent wishes.
Can we have it 25%?
Your Honor, we accept. 25.
Well, the majority also joins the proposal in accepting the compromise agreement.
Despite this compromise, the Makabayan bloc is still not convinced that the Philippines is ready to establish a sovereign wealth fund.
Huwag na tayong magpanggap sa usaping ito. Lubog tayo sa depisito, trilyon-trilyon ng ating utang, wala tayong surplus, pero bakit gusto pa rin nating isugal ang pondo ng financial institutions natin?
House Speaker Martin Romualdez, who was also part of the ASEAN-EU summit delegation in Belgium, told the media that he was able to talk to Senator Mark Villar, who will be filing the counterpart measure at the Senate.
It's actually picking up from what was approved at the APRO level, no? So we have a refined measure, no? And when we spoke just last night, he says he will use the draft bill that we've already refined through APRO, approved by the banking committee that's now on the floor as the starting point. And he's very, very enthusiastic about it.
With the House approval, the bill on the Maharlika Investment Fund is now at the hands of senators. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
The Social Security system is set to increase the contribution of its members. The SSS says the monthly rate will be hiked to 14% from the current 13% by January 2023. This means a member earning 30,000 pesos will pay 4,200 pesos. That's an additional 300 pesos. The amount, though, will be shouldered by the employer under the Social Security Act of 2018. Members of the private sector have called for the hike's suspension amid soaring inflation. To give us his insights on the developments on the Maharlika Investment Fund bill, Senate Minority Leader Koko Pimentel is now with us over the phone. Good evening, Senator Pimentel.
Magandang gabi, Roby, Gretchen, and to all of your viewers and listeners. Good evening to everyone.
So, Senator, as expected, the Maharlika proposal has sailed through the House of Representatives without any surprises. What do you expect once this matter gets to the Senate?
Well, the Senate, being the body having the mandate from all over the nation, senators should really go over this proposal thoroughly. Wag po naming madaliin ito. Yan po ang pakiusap ko sa mga kapwa ko senador. Kasi this is actually meant, sovereign wealth funds in other countries. I'm not sure here in the Philippines, but in other countries are meant to benefit future generations of their people. So this will have intergenerational effects or ramifications. So it can be positive, but it can also be negative. Pwedeng benepisyo, pwedeng perwisyo. Yun po ang ating pag-ingatan. That's why hindi ko nakikita ang dahilan bakit tayo magmamadali sa isang panukala na pwedeng malaki ang potential na perwisyo ang iiwanan para sa future generations of Filipinos.
Well, despite all of the doubts, despite all of the concerns, this has passed with overwhelming consensus. More than 200 congressmen wanting to be co-authors of the bill. Does that surprise you, and what does that tell us?
No, I will no longer comment on the happenings in the House of Representatives. So I will just concern myself with what will happen in the Senate. So a Senate counterpart may be filed, as I've heard from your introduction, or it need not be filed, because if the House has already passed a measure, they will send it to the Senate. So by January or the first quarter of next year, senators should be ready to discuss this proposal. I have noticed a change in the name. No? They're making it an investment fund already. So I think that weakens the proposal, because marami na investment fund. Mga SSS, GSI, they're all investment vehicles.
Whatever they end up calling this fund, and whatever ultimately is the nature and structure of it, a lot of concerns, not just on the fiscal side, but particularly on the governance side. What items and what particular features on the governance side would you like to see?
I am more familiar with the first bill filed. I'm not familiar with what happened recently. So the first bill was the president, so it's too political. And then I think they changed it to Secretary of Finance, so it's also the alter ego of the president, so it's the same thing. Diba? So politics will be there, so delikado po ito. Plus the fact that corruption is still a problem here in the Philippines. Meron na nga tayong COA, may congressional oversight na rin. Hindi pa rin takot yung ibang ahensya in corruption. So what if may tatlo-tatlo kayong auditors dyan? Kung if the person or the group group of persons are not afraid of the law, then corruption will still be there. So yan po yung ating bantayan.
Given the amendments, so what safeguards would you want to pursue to make this bill foolproof, and what can we expect at the Senate?
And that will not be my role, no, because I am against this proposal. I do not believe that we need some sort of a sovereign wealth fund nowadays, or we need to replicate or duplicate the SSS, the GSIS, that we need to weaken the Land Bank and the DBP by getting their reserves. I mean, I disagree with the concept, the rationale behind this bill. So it is not my job to save this bill.
Okay. Senator Koko Pimentel, sir, maraming salamat po.
Salamat po. Thank you.